Chiefs Kingdom, we have some breaking news to get to you here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jace Andrews. There has been an arrest warrant issued for Rashee Rice in Dallas, Texas, following his hit-and-run accident this past month. And, well, we're just going to try and give you the facts and try and say what is going to happen next for Rashee Rice. The update comes from Ari saying an arrest warrant has been issued for Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice in connection to his involvement in a multi-vehicle crash in Dallas late last month. Per WFAA, he faces 6 counts. However, you saw the L3, it was actually 8 counts. He then quote tweeted himself to correct and say, in total, Rashee Rice faces 8, not 6, charges in the case. 6 counts of collision involving bodily injury, 1 count of collision involving serious bodily injury, and 1 count of aggravated assault. The driver of the Corvette is facing the same charges, which we did find out was an SMU cornerback. Not great. Obviously, just trying to present the facts to you and try and give you what we know right now. WFAA in Dallas, a news station, had the original report. Wanted to kind of go check them out. So here's what they said that I thought was interesting. Quote, "It was not yet clear when Rice will be taken into custody. The Dallas Police Department typically allows a suspect a chance to turn themselves in before sending officers to arrest him," sources told WFAA, end quote. So obviously right now, technically he is on the run, quote unquote. Now obviously, like you saw in that quote, it is a period of time right now where Rashee Rice has the choice to turn himself in or have the police come out and arrest him. And obviously the choice is to turn yourself in. That is the right choice. And from what we have seen from Rashee Rice in this entire situation, hopefully that is what he will do. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, Jace, I'm so confused. How did it go to 8 charges? What happened and what's going on? Well, unfortunately, that's just the way that this case has gone. Let's kind of remind you a little bit of what exactly happened. So here was the original report of the crash back in late March. A vehicle believed to be registered or leased to Rice was involved in a crash in the 6,600 block of North Central Expressway at about 6:20 p.m. in Dallas, Texas, officials told the news. The law enforcement officials said police are looking for Rice, and a police call sheet obtained by the news confirmed that law enforcement was searching for him in connection with the accident. His alleged involvement in the crash is unclear. Dallas police spokeswoman Kristen Lohman had said the preliminary investigation determined a driver in a Chevrolet Corvette and a driver in a Lamborghini were speeding in the far left lane near University Boulevard, where both lost control of their vehicles. Rice owned the Corvette that was involved in the crash. We now found out it was leased. The Lambo company he was leasing it from called the Classic Lifestyle. Rice was in the Lambo at the time of the crash and acted, and according to the leasing agreement, he's the only person who is permitted to drive the car. This is all according to Kyle Coker, the attorney that is now representing Classic Lifestyle of the 2 cars. Lots to get in through, but honestly right now, a suspension is probably the least of the worries for Rashee Rice. It's tough because obviously he had a good season, and right now we can't really focus on a good season. That's not what's important. The fact of the matter is he committed a crime, and right now he needs to turn himself in. And we're going to keep giving you reports. We're going to keep giving you updates. There is a quote from the attorney of Rashee Rice that I do feel is important to kind of circle back to and really kind of just show that Rashee Rice is not the type of guy to do this, but unfortunately it has happened to him. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. Do you have to tell you about one of our sponsors here on the Chiefs Sport real quick, and that is Prize Picks. If you want a $100 deposit match, you can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and in fact, it's the largest daily fantasy sports platform on North America. Now, I know basketball season with the NBA is kind of coming to a close. College basketball finished off this past weekend, but guess what's this weekend? The glory of Augusta, the Masters. Phil Mickelson and Oklahoma State's own Victor Hovland. I'm going the more on both their birdies. 3.5 for Victor Hovland. I'm hoping to win for him, and then Phil Mickelson, I'm actually going to go less, 2.5 birdies or better on that one. So Phil, with that long hair, that luscious hair, creepy smile, though, in his green jacket photo. If you've seen that one, you know what I'm talking about. Victor, you're my guy, Oklahoma State. Go get those birdies. Once again, you can check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS, and using the code CLNS, you're going to get that $100 deposit match. I encourage you to go check it out. We're going to put the links in the comments and the description. You're not going to find a better daily fantasy sports app than Prize Picks, and I promise you, you will not be regretting it because you can make $250 on there with just $10. It's really, really easy, and it's super, super fun. Once again, prizepicks.com/CLNS and CLNS for that $100 deposit match. Leaving the scene made it worse, and obviously, I know that we're kind of picking hairs here because at this point, it's happened. We can't change the past. What can be changed is the future, and that's turning himself in. And I think, again, I want to go back to Royce West because I truly do feel like this is hard because Rashee Rice is not the type of guy I would have expected to do this. And Royce West, the attorney of Rashee Rice, even kind of alluded to that. He said this in a statement this past week saying, quote, "The fact is, you got a 23-year-old young man that's never been in this type of situation before. You will get an opportunity to hear from him hopefully within the next week," end quote. Obviously, I don't know if that's going to happen right now, but as much as this sucks, as much as from a fan perspective, we look at this and we think, I wanted him on the field. This has now become bigger than football. It's not going to be just something that affects him in his football life. This is unfortunately going to affect him in pretty much his entire life, and the consequences are going to have to be felt by him. And his actions, although something that I would have never expected him to ever do, he did, and it's confirmed, and now we just have to wait to see what the pending action is. From this, the Chiefs could potentially release Rashee Rice. There is a lot of moves to still follow. I'd have to think that more information will have to come out before we get an official statement from Kansas City. We do know the NFL is monitoring the situation, and given now that he has the arrest warrant out, have to expect a suspension will be coming in the near future, Chiefs potentially releasing him. Lots of things that could happen in the next couple of days. We'll make sure to keep you updated here on the Chiefs Sports, so hit that subscribe button. That way you are in the know for the most part. Again, though, I do want to preface here with Royce West. It's really about Rashee Rice as a person, and this one instance does not define him. He said this in that statement last week, quote, "Why don't you do a story of who he is as opposed to what occurred? Because it seems as though what you're saying is based on this one incident. You're going to define him based on this incident as opposed to his entire body of work? I would say to each and every one of you, if all of us had to be defined by one incident, then that would be ridiculous, as opposed to our entire body of work. So I'd ask that you, as the media, look at his entire body of work before saying exactly who he is." End quote. People have spoken up in really support of Rice because time and time again, I'm going to say this because I truly just can't believe it. No one expected Rashee Rice to have something like this happen, to be a part of something like this. Willie Gay Jr. spoke out and on a tweet and said, "A great person. We all make mistakes and have to learn from our actions as a part of growing up. We believe in God's grace. Forget what a man says." Obviously, a former teammate there for Willie Gay. It's great to hear, but again, at this point, you have to face the consequences. And we actually had this report from Nate Taylor earlier today, and I think it's important to preface here because this is a potential for Rashee Rice. Nate Taylor said in his most recent Athletic article, quote, "Rice could face a felony charge for drag racing on the expressway, a violation defined as two or more vehicles from a point side-by-side acceleration speeds and a competitive attempt to outdistance each other. He could also be charged for fleeing the crash. If convicted, Rice could be sentenced to multiple years in prison," end quote. It's tough news, and it's tough things to kind of say here on the Chiefs Report. And obviously, it's not something that I want to report on. It's not something that I want to talk about, but it's the news. It's a part of this Chiefs team. He's a player on this team, and for as long as he is, we're going to keep reporting on what's going to happen, a suspension, whatever. It sucks. I'm not going to put it lightly. I loved Rashee Rice. I loved watching him last year. He was one of my favorite players right off the bat. I mean, he was a rookie, and now there's a very real possibility that he never puts on a Chiefs uniform ever again, to be quite frank with you. And as much as that sucks, it's the way the world is right now, and the way that Rashee Rice has conducted himself has put himself in this position. So it's really, really unfortunate. We will keep you updated here on the Chiefs Report. So once again, if you do want to make sure that you are in the know if he gets released, if the suspensions comes, what the charges are, what happens, well, then hit the subscribe button because we will keep you updated on all that comes with that. Hopefully, we'll be back tomorrow with more positive lighted video. For now, Chiefs Kingdom, we do appreciate hanging out with us. Peace out.